In this math video, we're going to be learning about decimal division. So one reason why I wrote these two sums horizontally is because it's very important to remember or to know which one of the two digits goes inside of our division symbol. So the way I always remember it is that it is always the one number to the left that goes inside of our division symbol. So this one, which is to the left, always goes inside of the division symbol, and the one to the right goes over here, because it's saying how many 51s fit into 31 and 773 thousandths there, and this one says exactly the same thing. Okay, so this looks really confusing because we would have to figure out how many 5.1s, 5 and 1/10ths, fit into 31 and 773 thousandths, which is a very complicated sum. So I'm going to teach you a trick that's going to make it a lot easier for you to solve. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both digits by 10. And in doing that, we just move the decimal place one digit to the right. So I'm going to do that here. 5 and 1/10 becomes 51. And then, well, I don't have a lot of room for my answer, but oh well. And then 31 and 773 thousandths becomes 317 and 73 hundredths. So it's a lot easier for us to deal with now. Okay, so just change colour pens so this is a little bit easier to distinguish between. Now, these sums are actually, that we're going to get the same answer from them. All we've done is we've just moved the decimal, that's it. We're multiplied by 10. It's exactly the same, it's asking exactly the same question. Okay, so you need really good estimation skills for long division. So if you feel as if you're not quite comfortable with this next step, I suggest stopping and going and watching our estimation skills video. So with this one, how many 51s go into 3? Well, we know that no groups of 51 will fit into 3. The next one here, how many groups of 51 would fit into 31? Again, none of them. So now, we've got how many groups of 51 would fit into 317. So we are going to have some groups of 51 that fit into 317 here. And the way that I'm going to figure this out is estimation. And I'm just going to show you what I'm doing in my head. So 51, I'm going to round that to 50. You can still see over here. 50 plus another 50 is 100. Plus another 50, 150, oops, 200, 250, 300. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a roundabout estimate that if I multiply 51 by 6, it's most likely going to be underneath 317 there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So 6 times 1 is 6. And then 6 times 5 is 30. And so I'm going to do this long division way so you can see everything that I'm thinking. So 7 take away 6 is 1. 1 take away nothing is 1. And 3 take away 3 is 0, so I'm not going to write anything down there. Okay, so the next step here just involves me bringing my decimal point, nothing tricky, just bring my decimal point right up here and it stays there now, and that's it. Okay, so but I've still got these other digits to deal with, so I'll bring my 7 down because that's the next digit I'm going to deal with. So now 51 into 117, the closest I think I'm going to get is 2. So I'm going to put my 2 here and guess that 2 times 51 is going to end up around about 117 or less than that. So 2 times 1 is 2. And then 2 times 5 is 10. And now I'm going to subtract. 7 take away 2 is 5. 1 take away nothing is 1. And then we've got a 0 there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my 3 down. And I've got 153 now. So, how many do I think, how many 51s are going to fit into 153? Well, I'm going to say around about 3. So, because I've got 50, 100, 150 there, that's my rounding. So, then I say, well, how many 51s go, 3 times 1 is 3. And then 3 times 5 is 15. I take them away. 3 take away 3 is 0. 5 take away 5 is 0. And then 1 take away 1 is 0. So because I've got no other digits, I know I can stop. I can stop doing my long division now. So I know I've got my answer all sorted and ready. So my answer to this question is 6 and 23 hundredths, and that's it completed. Okay, so I'm just going to go through one other question now because this kind of question might be a bit tricky when you have one decimal and one whole number. Okay, so again, I wrote it horizontally so that you can see how the sum goes in to this division symbol. So again, the one that's to the left always goes on the inside of this division symbol here. So the 26 is in the inside, and then the 2.5 is over here. So I'm going to follow that same method that I tried to do, that I used before, of multiplying them both by 10. And so here, which means that I just move it to the right, so 25 here. But as you can see, there's actually no digit here. But after every single unit or one's digit, there are zeros, heaps and heaps of zeros. We just don't write them because who can be bothered? So if we were to move our invisible decimal that's there one over to the right, it would actually end up being 260. Okay, so now we're going to do this sum. So how many 25 go into 2? 0. How many 25s now go into 26? 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. So then 26, that is. Take away 25, that's 1. And then I bring down my 0. 25, now this step is really important because a lot of people skip it. So 25, how many 10s? Well, none. And then we've got, then what we do is 25 times 0, well anything times 0 is 0, and then take away. So now I've got 10 here. Okay, so we actually can't stop our sum because we're not completed, we're not finished the entire thing. We've still got this 10 remainder. We can't just say remainder 10 because we're in grade 6 now and we want to be able to do things to the decimal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a decimal here and then another 0 because, as I said before, at the end of every single ones digit there is a decimal and then zeros. So I'm going to add that decimal there, but I'm also going to add it up the top here in my answer too and continue my division sum there. And so bring down my 0. So now I've got 100. So how many 25s go into 100? Well, if you're not sure of that, you can always count up by 25s, or you may just know already that it's going to be 4. So then you put your 4 here, and then 4 times 25, well that's actually 100, and we are now left with our 0 as an answer, so we've got nothing else to contend with. So our answer to this This sum here is going to be 10 and 4/10. So how many 2 and 5/10 fit into 26? 10 and 4/10. Good luck, and remember to show you're working out.